for the whole month of October, I've been speaking on gratitude. My first message, I talked about the importance of being rooted in gratitude. And then last week, I talked about contentment and how to grow that. So this morning, I want to talk about spreading that gratitude to others. When I spoke about contentment, I compared it to a garden that takes patient and hard work to make it grow. And maybe sharing what God has done can be compared to that as well. Like when a plant spreads its seeds and causes life to spring up all around it. I have a friend who has some pretty little viola flowers growing in her flower bed. And those flowers don't just grow where you planted them. Those things spread everywhere. She planted them in her flower bed, and now they're growing on the right side of the flower bed, and the left side of the flower bed, and the front of it, and in front of it, and on the pathway leading up to her house, and into the driveway, and now it's over into her vegetable garden. Those things are everywhere. They're beautiful, but they're everywhere. They're all over the place. And I love seeing flowers spread like that, especially because it means that I don't have to do as much work, but also because it's just a beautiful thing to see things growing and spreading like that. And when we share what God has done in our lives, we can see the effect that it has, and it spreads to other people. Jesus instructed us to live as light. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Letting our light shine before men means that we are dispelling the darkness. Sharing our story of God's goodness brings people out of the dark and into the light. If you're in a completely dark room, everything is completely pitch black, and you light a single match, it illuminates that place. You can't add more darkness and make it go away. The light changes the dynamics of the room. It changes everything. One tiny light and darkness is broken. In Psalm 107, the psalm writer encourages the redeemed to share their story. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever." Has the Lord redeemed you? Then speak out. Tell others he has redeemed you from your enemies, for he has gathered the exiles from many lands, from east to west, from north to south. So this morning I could preach about the importance of all of these things, and I could go into a whole message, and trust me, it was difficult for me to cut it down to where I am right now. But I would like you to experience that. So this morning I have 5 different people who are going to come and share something that they are thankful for, that God has done in their lives. And my goal is that as they talk about what God has done in their lives, that you will be impacted and you will be encouraged. So we'll start off this morning with Parker. Parker's going to come and share this morning.
So this is me saying something that God's done for me the last little while. I'd say, I don't know if this counts, I'd say he's made me appreciate my mom a lot more than I did before. And I've always appreciated my mom, but these last few months have made me realize that there's no one else on this earth like your mom. And I mean, we've been in the process of moving, and the last month and a half we've had to stay in my grandma's basement because we didn't have a house. And I don't know how my mom has done it whatsoever. We couldn't get the first house, and we fought very hard to try to get it, and the bank kind of didn't help us at all, and some other people made it very difficult for us. And then we couldn't get the second house, and then just within a day, a few days ago, we just got this house, and it's amazing. And she's been the strongest and most amazing person I know, and she's made me appreciate her a lot more and life a lot more. And I gotta say that that's God working through her. That's the only way that she's been able to get any of this done whatsoever. Like, she's had to go through a lot, and a lot of road bumps and a lot of just blocks in the way, and she's been praying so hard to the point of tears sometimes, and she just keeps going. I don't know how else to explain that other than that's just God working through her. And she's the one person that's always there for me, and she's just, like I said, she's just the strongest person I know. Like, I don't know if that counts, because it's, it's my mom, but that's God working through her every time. She's the best, and that's him through her all the time. Anything else I have to say besides that? Okay, that's all I have to say. My mom's just the best.
Thank you, Parker. I think anytime anyone talks about how wonderful their mom is, it's a great time. So thank you for sharing about that. And we have seen that in your life, Pam, seen God moving and God doing things through you. And so that's a blessing to us as well as your son. Next, I'm going to have Joan come up and share. And then after that will be Hayden. Joan has been a part of this congregation for a long time and a part of this community for a long time. And most of us probably know her as the antique shop fudge lady and the old lady. No, that's not how we see you. And she's just the sweetest. And so just enjoy hearing from her this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess this is kind of what am I thankful for? And oh my, I could keep you here all day. I won't. I am thankful for our church and all our precious family here today. Pastor Heather, we are so thankful for you and Daniel, our chef from the kitchen last Sunday with the gorgeous apron on. And with such a precious servant's heart. And I want to say thank you, Hayden and Zach and Michaela, for being a beautiful part of our church and your ministry here to us. We thank the Lord for our music team and their labor of love. The Lord Jesus has been a special part of my life for many years. I remember as a little girl asking Jesus to come into my heart and take away my sins. I think I was probably 4 or 5. And as soon as I could read, I would stand at our upstairs dormer window and read my Bible till it was dark. And people say, oh, little children can't understand the Bible. But the same Spirit that makes things real to adults can teach little children as well, and I love it. I thank the Lord for a mom and dad that loved Jesus. No, they weren't perfect, but they loved him. My mom fed half the country. I don't know how she did it. She was a beautiful cook, and she just loved others. We lived in Saskatchewan, and I hope you won't hold that against us, between Hudson Bay and Little Irwood. And growing up, we had cats, we had dogs and kitties and bunnies and baby chicks. I feel sorry for people who have never known the love of animals. We walked 1.5 miles to a little country school. The teacher generally stayed at our place. And the pastors from town ended up coming out to our place, and we ended up having services there every second Sunday and every second Friday. We had youth, and the countryside would come. And I'm thankful for the pastors that came out each time. I was a shy, quiet mouse of a little girl, and I'm so thankful for the pastors that saw worth in me. A lot of time was spent praying for children, over children. Pastors would lay their hands on us like we were such special people. And in our home, I was going to say my sister is here this morning. So I was going to say to begin with, I'm going to have to change everything I was going to say. And no, that's not true. It's a joy to have her. Am I too close to the mic? Is it okay? All right. But in our home, in the country, when I was a little girl, my sister and I would work hard, like at getting ready for church. My mom, it was important to her to have a clean, tidy house. We had to wax the floors. My sister and I pulled each other around on old, I don't know, towels or coats or something, and we polished the floor. And that we had fun. And then getting ready for the church services. Is it Pastor John that had the little stumps of wood out there? Oh, from kids' camp. That's what we used in the home, stumps of wood. And then we would cover planks with blankets. And that was people's seats. And so we would get all that together and arranged. And yeah. And then in grade 12, we ended up moving into town. And I taught Sunday school. And our pastor had moved to the Palm, Manitoba. And he wanted me, asked if I would go up and help with VBS, Vacation Bible School, and look for work at the same time. I went. I got work right away and never did help with Vacation Bible School. And they were so fine with that. It was there that I met a young man who loved Jesus with all his heart. Young people and old alike were all in prayer meeting. We just seemed to spend hours in prayer meeting. In some ways, now I sound like an old lady, I think we've lost so much. Time was spent, young, old, all together. It was precious. And then I met this young man, and we would end up with a carload of youth after the services, and never once did this young man show off or act smart. I was quite impressed. To make a long story short, I married this young man, and I am so thankful for Grant, and we had our 60th anniversary the end of June. God is faithful and so good. I will give that clap, thank you, to him, because that's where it belongs. And we had a busy life. Grant worked at a mill in Hudson Bay. He drove ambulance. We taught Sunday school. We cleaned the church. And we had our youth group. And we took the youth group once a week up to the Shoal Lake Indian Reserve, Native Reserve, every week. And I thank God for changing lives. Wasn't us, it was him. I'm sorry, Cam thought I'd just stand up here and cry the whole time. So maybe we might. We'll see. Anyway, I thank the Lord for changing lives. A young Native man named Curly would sit in our meetings, drunk, drooling all down himself. And he asked Jesus, their own native people, I believe, helped lead him to the Lord. He asked Jesus into his life. The Lord changed him. And when we went up, he stood up. They don't give a testimony. The dear Native people who we love, they make a testimony. And he stood up and made a testimony. And he said, my heart is light in Jesus. And so it was beautiful to see the change in people's lives. It sounds stupid, but their laundry out on the lines was whiter. So many changes. It affected every area in their lives. I wasn't going to say this, but one of the most humbling moments I've ever felt. We were up for a meeting at the Shoal Lake Indian Reserve. They had no hospital. There was a sick little baby. I remember the mother coming, asking if we would take little baby to the hospital. I didn't know her. I'd never seen them before. They put this precious little baby in my arms. And the mother, none of the family was able to go. We found out where they wanted baby to go. We took her to the hospital. But I was just so humble and so thankful to the Lord. And they were all able to go to the hospital the next day. So anyway, I am thankful for our own family. Our kids were a part of whatever we did, and so precious. Lynette was born all was well. 4 years later, Cam arrived. They rushed him to Saskatoon and totally changed his blood. It was the RH factor, no big deal now. They just give the mother a shot. But they changed his blood once, and he was fine. So I thank the Lord. Now, I shouldn't say this. It's a matter of time before brain damage sets in. And I said to Cam, we say the odd time, did we get you there soon enough? No, I'm sorry. And yes, we did, and the Lord did his precious work. And then 5 years later, our little Connie Joy arrived. I was in Saskatoon again. I don't think they knew what to do with me. They were going to change her blood before she was born, which they can do. And then they decided to take her 2 months earlier, end of October, soon. And she was to be a New Year's baby. So anyway, they changed her blood 3 times, gave us the first glimmer of hope, and then she died with a brain hemorrhage. So I do tell people we have 3 children, and one is more alive than we are. And we'll spend all eternity together, and it's wonderful. I thank the Lord so much for being faithful. I tell people at the store, jobs end. That's how we got out here. Jobs end. Houses burn. We had an ugly fire in our place before we came. We were out of it the whole winter. But I remember at the end of that day being thankful that we were all still there. Everybody was alive. Things you can replace. People you can't. And but I tell people, houses burn, jobs end, houses burn, babies die, but God is faithful. And that's all I know. That's all I know. And I'm so thankful for our music group here, all of you. It's just precious. And wherever we went through the years as a family, if we traveled, we all sang. And it was wonderful. And there's little choruses that have meant a lot to me. One is to know him is the cry of my heart. And I'm an old lady in my 80s, but I still feel there is so much more to know about him. And I want to know, I want to learn. And if I Pastor Les, thank you for being here, for who you are, for it's beautiful. When we moved here, we found a little church here. Grant worked hours every day, hours and hours and hours. We came in a tent camper, and the kids and I we stayed at the Lions Park, and we'd walk uptown for groceries and carry them back. I'm glad there was the 3 of us. And then one cold, not nice day, precious, Corey came and rescued us. She insisted we go to her place, and she wanted us to bring all our dirty clothes. That's who she was, and just such a treasure, such a blessing. And I thank the Lord for her. And there's another little chorus. Hallelujah, God above it all. And it's another one I love. And I just feel a settled peace. God above it all, in it all, around it all, through it all. And that's as good as it gets. So I know people have burdens and things, heavy things here as well. But just trust God. Know that He's in it. His everlasting arms are round about, holding you close. And may you feel those everlasting arms. Another one I love is your presence, Lord. It's a little chorus, your presence, Lord. And I'll sing that. His Spirit will and I just bask in His presence. And it's awesome. And it's beautiful. There's verses that have meant the world to me. And one is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And I've needed that verse. Someone has died. You're going to visit them. I didn't want to do it. But I would say, Lord, it's you and me. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And then Psalm 119, I believe, 165. I love this verse. I think we need this verse. Great peace have those who love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Nothing. And if I need that down the road, please somebody come and tell me that again. Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing causes them to stumble, or nothing will offend them. And that to me is precious. And then Psalm 30 and verse 5. The Lord has just dropped these verses into my heart when I've needed them. Psalm 30 verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I could tell a whole lot with that, but it's someone else's story, and I respect that, and I leave it. Another thing I wanted to say, it was Corey that had a baby shower for our Courtney, and that meant the world to me. Anyway, this verse, what a comfort. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And I got to leave all that with him too. We cannot change hearts. We can't change people. We can't change what they do. We can love them unconditionally. Lord, help us. Lord, help me. And I weep and pray because I don't have any other answers. I weep and pray to the one who is above it all, who is faithful, who loves with an everlasting love. So God bless you. And Sean, I just want to say thank you for your faithfulness. Means the world to me through the years. And our Ryan and our drums and our George and all of you with music. Bless you. Thank you. Carry on. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and your neighbor as yourself. Neighbors. I'm kind of planning little bits of my funeral. The Lord alone knows. Our days and times are in his hands. But there's so many. Maybe he will come, we will just go. But there's so many around that do not know him. And Lord, help us and use us. And I will never forget Pastor John's little Passover message. Be a donkey. Be a donkey. Carry Jesus to the world. And that's exactly where it's at. And please pray for us. We need wisdom. Cam is working with 2 old people. One person can't do it alone, but the Lord knows. We need his wisdom. I want to do only what he would have us do. Nothing more, nothing less. And I guess I look at that place, the old place, the antique store with the old people. I look at that as a ministry. You can talk to people. You can laugh with them. You can cry with them. You can pray with them. And I love it. I love it. And I love it when kids and teens come in, because they're our future. And Lord bless. I think I'm done. Thank you, Pastor Heather.
What an incredible testimony of life well lived. You know, and every time I hear from Joan, I walk away blessed from the words that she speaks into my life, and I know that she does that to others as well. So thank you. Thank you.
I was asked, what am I thankful for? And the answer is God's never-ending, overwhelming love and forgiveness. This was reminded to me by the Josiah's Queen song, The Prodigal. The lyrics, I'm lost in the feeling that I ain't from this world, ring true, as we are creations of heaven and are always welcome there. Whether it is the 100th time or the 1000th time that you turn to him, his invitation remains. Run to me and I'll run to you, and when we meet, we'll throw a party. This is so powerful for me because there are days when we feel like we don't deserve to be celebrated. But having the assurance that he will throw a party for us is astounding.
Okay, and our last couple that will share with us is Brittany and Piers. Three of them. More the merrier, right?
Oh, I feel so weepy after Joan's testimony. Wow. It's incredible. We have so many things to be thankful for. I feel like my heart is overflowing with gratitude every time I think about God's faithfulness and how he's taken our lives. and change them for the good. You know, we have the usual things like our kids. I love them. Our house, our friends and family, Pierce's job. But we have those things in our life that are like turning points, you know, and it could go one way or another depending on how you trust God. Because Satan's plan is to come and steal and kill and destroy. And he's trying to steal and kill and destroy the mission that God has for us. And in each one of those situations where it's like the thing you ask God not to let happen, you have a choice. You have a choice to, you know, be like the king. I think it's Hezekiah who took the scroll and lay it in the temple and say, God, look what's going on. Or you have the choice to be angry and bitter and unforgiving. And God's okay with you sitting in that for a while, but you can't stay there. You need to eventually give it to God. Otherwise, the devil has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. And as long as we're living with that truth that God has a mission for you, and no matter what happens, that mission's not over because I'm not in heaven yet. And God loves me too much to keep me here in the brokenness of this world if I don't have a mission. I have a mission. We all have a mission. And if we're still here, our mission's not done. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-year-old girl showing love to her little friend, or if it's grown-ups, or if it's seniors. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're still here, you have a mission. But we can't let the devil's plan to steal and kill and destroy hold us up. We got to give it to God. We got to lay down that scroll in the temple and say, Lord, you see what's going on. This is bigger than me. I can't do this. I need you to bring me through it. And we have those points in our life where those things happen. You know, some big ones for us that changed the course of our life were like me not dying last year. It was pretty hit or miss. Let me just find it. Hold on. I suffered from hypertension in my last month of my pregnancy with Johnny. Johnny in himself is a miracle. You know, you think you do things because it makes sense, but you don't always ask God if it's the right time and his will. And while we were pregnant with Gracie, Pierce got a vasectomy because we figured 4 is enough kids. We don't need any more. But God had a plan. And he promised us Johnny a year and a half before we found out we were pregnant with him. I was teaching Sunday school, which I love doing. I'm so blessed to be with those kids. And God spoke to me and said, you're going to have a kid, a son, and his name will be John. And he's going to bring people to Christ. And I was teaching that Sunday about John the Baptist when they found out that they were pregnant with him. So that was like, excuse me, what? Like, we're done. But, you know, things didn't work out with Pierce's surgery. And we found out that we were expecting him. And it was like, okay, well, God told us this is going to happen. It wasn't according to plan, but we trust you. And man, this little boy has brought me so much joy. You know, like having kids in your 20s, you're not quite, I wasn't at least, emotionally mature to deal with a lot of things. But in my 30s, it's just like what a joy to have a baby in your 30s and later on in life, because you're more prepared to enjoy the ups and downs. It's not trying to figure out how to be a grown-up yourself. And I'm so thankful that Johnny came to our family. But in the last month of that pregnancy, I suffered from hypertension. I actually got put on bed rest. I had to, you know, leave Kim with the bag with Awana, and I had so many friends make me meals and just shower me in love, and I was so thankful for that, how everybody rallied around me. And then we had Johnny, and when he was just a few days old, I got woken up with just an excruciating headache. It felt like my eyeballs were going to explode. And I went and took my blood pressure. It was incredibly high. Woke up Pierce, asked him to take me to the hospital. And on that drive, we live out of town, so it took about 20 minutes to get there. I remember looking over at Johnny in the moonlight and begging God to keep me alive long enough so I could watch him grow up. Like, I know God will take me when my mission's done, but I begged him, God, don't let my mission be done yet. You know, when you're faced with your mortality, you imagine a lot of things, right? You imagine dying and him not being able to know you and to know how loved that he was and how much we wanted him, even though we had the surgery not to have anymore, you know, how much we wanted him still. And I imagined Pierce trying to raise 5 kids without me and how hard that would be on him. And how Gracie would all but forget me because she was only 4. And the older boys would just have me as a faint memory, and they wouldn't know the deep love that I have, and I wouldn't get to be a part of their spiritual journeys. I begged God to keep me alive long enough so that I could help raise them. And these thoughts, they were so unbearable. The emergency doctor diagnosed me with preeclampsia when we got to the hospital, which is very rare after the baby's born. Usually, the way you fix it is you have the baby. So they had to figure out the meds. It was touch and go. They really struggled controlling it. But after 4 days, they figured out my meds. And then another day in the hospital, just to make sure it was all working. But God brought us through it. And in hindsight, I'm so thankful for it. It helped me to slow down and really bond and enjoy that newborn phase with Johnny. I literally had planned on cleaning out the freezer that next day when Johnny was 3 days old, because it had to be done. And Pierce was with me the whole time, and we got to connect, and you know, we talked, and we did like a Beth Moore Bible study together the whole week, and just looked at this little baby. We had this precious time with our 5th child. I'm so thankful for that. I didn't expect to have that intimate time with that little baby. We wouldn't have slowed down, and we would have missed out on that time with him. And it was so precious. And we had so much support from our friends, bringing me meals, our family, taking care of my kids, and so much love from them that I didn't realize how loved we were, and I was so thankful, especially a lot of you here in the church here. Thank you so much for being my church family. And that experience really put into perspective how fleeting life can be and how I need to live each day with purpose. I need to prioritize my activities and my time around this mission that God has given me, around these children. And I'm so thankful, even though it was scary, even though I didn't know how it was going to turn out in the middle of it, I'm so thankful God let it happen to us and brought us through it, because it just felt like a springboard into the next level of the mission. And I'm really thankful that that happened. Another huge thing in our life has been Pierce's sobriety.
Hi, everybody. I was a struggling alcoholic for basically since I was 18 up until about 6 years ago, June 2019. God really started working on my life earlier in that year of 2019 with participating in a Bible study with Debbie and Kelly Plummer. Really appreciate their guidance and stuff like that. And it started actually being placed on my heart that I should possibly give up this crutch, for lack of a better term. Alcohol to me was a way to solve my anger. It solved my stress. It solved pain. It was hot out or it was cold out. It didn't matter. It was something I really enjoyed, but also it was becoming God to me. I would go to it for my problems, not go ahead and reach out to him. I would end up decompressing at the end of my work week, which led to a hangover Saturday, and then in the end, I wouldn't be able to even be with my family at that point. So again, in June of 2019, I finally hit a low point where it's like, what am I doing with my life? If I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna have a family, I can't be not present. Yeah, I might physically be there, but definitely not emotionally available or anything like that. So I was able to, for lack of a better term, be led to this turning point by God. And that's what I'm grateful for, is that I've been able to, like, with his help, because each and every day it's a struggle. It's not just, okay, boom, we're done, it's over. No, God's going to continually work in my heart and continue to grow that dependence on him, and not something else to replace it. Because, yeah, that's the next piece. Okay, now it was alcohol, what's next, or whatever, right? Another thing that we society numbs with is scrolling on our phones, right? And my God, that one's harder. Trying not to just always be scrolling on your phone, because, hey, that's a dopamine hit. That's something to go ahead and get lost in and stuff like that. But again, it's just another spot where you can get sucked into and not come back out of. So I appreciate where God has led me to become sober, to participate in our family, and actually be here for them. And I hope that God keeps on growing me in these different areas, so that way I can be a better father and a better husband. Thanks, guys.
And I'm so thankful Pierce made that choice. You know, he made it on his own, and I wasn't sure if he ever would. And I'm so thankful he did, because now he's the leader of our family that I prayed for, and able to lead all of us, you know, and I'm just so thankful for that. Yeah. And then the other huge thing that we're both thankful for is, it's corny, but each other, you know. I'm so incredibly thankful for the man that God has given me to do life with. His unwavering support and friendship have changed the course of my life. You know, I always say to the kids that I'm teaching in Sunday school, if I don't spend time in my Bible, I'm not a nice person. And that's the truth. You know, people always laugh at me, oh, sure, Brittany. No, it's true. You know, like, you guys didn't know me when I was a teenager. I am so thankful for how God has changed me. And I'm so thankful that he has used Pierce to change me, to challenge me, to help me to forgive, to help me to question why I'm doing things, and that he's that leader that's promised in the Bible, Lord. And I'm so thankful that I have somebody who I feel equally yoked with to do life with. Everything, I know I can say for myself, everything in my life that's good has Pierce's fingerprints on it.
Ditto.
So yeah, that's our spiel on thankfulness.
I'm going to ask I'm a little louder. I'm going to ask the worship team to come back. But we have an incredible hope as Christians. We have something incredible within us. And it's a hope that brings light into the dark places of our lives. It's a hope that restores. It brings life, it brings healing. And it's more than just encouraging other people with life stories. This is a real spiritual power behind our words. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11, it says, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony." They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Our testimony has the power to overcome the devil's schemes, Telling others about the things we have gone through takes the power of loneliness away from other people who have gone through things that we're experiencing. And it helps us to know that we're not alone. So share your story with other people. Share what God has done for you to your friends, the people you work with. 1 Peter 3:15 says, "But in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have." This verse isn't saying that you should always have a little sermon tucked in your back pocket, although I'm sure that would help. And just ready to share that with anyone and all these steps to whatever. I mean, those things are great and so helpful, absolutely. But when we share what God has done in our lives, it doesn't have to be a fancy or polished answer. Your life is enough. It's enough to help someone else understand what God is like. And that's what we're called to, you guys. To live a life that draws people to Christ. That light that expels the darkness.